So I moved in here, and the rent is cheaper than most other rents in Belper. But the proviso was that I would look after the gardens. But obviously, I don't know whether you've walked around all of the gardens, Ian, but there's this, there's that, then there's the orchard bit, and then there's another garden at the end. So it kind of goes round like that, like a
zigzag.
Yeah. So it's massive, absolutely massive. And when I first moved in, I had a housemate, and sometimes he'd get involved and other times he wouldn't, but we kind of managed it as best we could. And obviously I've got 3 kids as well, and me and the kids have done what we can, but it's unwieldy for 1 adult and 3 pre-teens / teen. And I've tried. I've lived here. It'll be 5 years on the 1st of June, and I've tried in that time to encourage various people to come and get involved with the garden, and it's never quite worked out, because when people come and see the amount of garden there is and the amount of work that needs to be done, they're enthusiastic at first, and then they go, "Oh no, it's too much." So I really wasn't sure what to do about it, and it has been quite a source of stress for me, because I've always said I felt like the selfish giant. I felt like I've kind of been sitting here with this, what could be potentially an oasis in Belper, but here I am, one person sitting on top of it all and not being able to manage it. So long story short, when I saw Miles's post on Facebook about the community garden in Struts ending, I was like, that would be perfect.
You probably could get straight carrots and you filled them with compost.
I'm not that wedded
I'm
to
not
straight
that
carrots.
fussed about my carrots being straight.
The plot. So, Freedom Feed'em many years ago here in Belper, pay what you want community meals. So anyone could come and eat with us, and it was 3 courses of amazing vegan food. So I ran that for years. COVID came along. This is a very, very potted history. COVID came along and put a stop to all of that. But then once that was all over, it was like, it's very different to restart something that's stopped than it is to start something fresh, because that's exciting. But restarting something, you're just aware of how hard it is, really. So I put that to a halt, but then found out through a friend that down at Hope for Belper, they do twice weekly community meals, which again is all, it's all free food for people who need free food, basically. And because of the Freedom Feed'em thing, I know how to cook for loads of people. So I started cooking down there, doing that. And then one day we were just chatting in the kitchen, me and some of the other people, and it came up of, what's the quality of the food, basically. By necessity, it's all packages and tins and stuff, because there's no storage capacity for fresh food. So we were chatting about, wouldn't it be great to have some fresh food? And then, it just went from there. And I was like, right, I'm going to find a place and we're going to grow some fresh food for you guys. So I scouted around a little bit. Then another volunteer down at Hope also volunteered at Struts and said there's a patch of land at the back of Struts with a greenhouse on it, but it's completely overgrown, and have a go at that. So they did let us start there, but so we were able to use it for a bit, but it was always expressly that there was going to be a time limit on this. We were there 2 and a bit years, and then right at the very, very, very last minute this came up. So it was very timely, desperately needed. As you can see, we've already got loads of stuff in the beds, and now we've got a good gang of people helping it. It's been fantastic, actually, because down there at Struts, sometimes it'd be just me, other times there'd be 2 or 3 people who'd join, but it was quite hard at times, but now with this gang of people, so much gets done so quickly. It's absolutely amazing. So you can see all these beds weren't here. It was completely overgrown. There was big piles of garbage all over the place and stuff. And you can see what we've managed to do just in a couple of months, really. No, it's been astonishing, actually. Yeah. So the actual space we have measured it. I believe it's 35 metres long by 7.5 metres wide. So long and narrow. It's kind of an L shape, so that's the main part of the L, but then there is another branch of it which we'll get round to in good time, because that's completely overgrown. So we're going to leave that until we've got this space fully fixed. So there's a shed about a third of the way up, quite a large shed, which we're going to move from its current site, move it about 10 metres, 12 metres further up the site, where it'll nestle underneath a very large apple tree, and there is also a plum tree there and another apple tree, but we're going to prune all those back quite heavily, stuff the shed into that gap, and then that'll liberate all of this space. And then where the shed is, and behind that, there's going to be a polytunnel, which is where makeshift come in. So the polytunnel is going to be 5.8 by 5.8 metres. Basically, it just means you can grow a lot more, like that you can keep going. The growing season is much longer, and more productive, I think, once you're in there. So things like squash and stuff will grow a lot better in there. We may be able to grow aubergines, cucumbers. So previously we did have a small greenhouse down at Struts, but all we could really grow was tomatoes in there. But we can expand beyond just tomatoes, which is very standard greenhouse fare, isn't it? And and just see what we can grow in there. So the polytunnel is going to be there. You can see there's a gentle slope on the land, but then from experience of having moved gentle slopes before, I'm not underestimating the amount of work it's going to be required to take out a gentle slope and level it off. It'll be quite a task. So initially I thought I was going to try and get that in for this spring, but then it's just that there is no way that's going to happen this spring, so we might as well concentrate on just getting this bit finished and productive. Currently there are 4 open air beds. There should be room for 6. There are about 4 metres by 1.5 metres, so we've got quite a big area that we can cultivate. They're all accessible for anyone who has mobility needs. And then we'll get all this done first. Claire is over there putting up some fence posts, so we're going to be able to install some trellises along there.
I'm mixing some cement to fix a fence post, because the fence has fallen down and one of the posts was rotten, so I've taken it out and dug a hole and just kind of fixing a new one. When I heard that Miles was doing this, I thought, perfect opportunity to see the allotment get flourishing, get going. I like being involved in things generally in Belper because it's such a nice community. You get to meet new people, feel like you're doing something worthwhile, and I like this one particularly because it's outdoors and physical. Get my fingers in the soil. So I'm just looking forward to seeing lots of things, interesting things coming up. That's the exciting bit, when you sow a seed and you see the little baby come up and then it starts to flourish and it grows into something lovely and edible. So not at that stage yet. We're still at the sorting out stage.
It's okay to start things not knowing what you're doing, and if it all flops, stop. So there's no compulsion, no one would feel cheated. It was just a nice adventure while it lasted, sort of thing. But it happens that it's lasted really well. And to go back to the beginning with all the freedom stuff, I started that not knowing what on earth I was doing as well. I just thought it was a nice idea and I'd give it a go. And then, we did that for 7-8 years, and probably served upwards of 10,000 meals to people. So, and donated, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20,000 pounds to various charities and stuff. So it was, it just works. If it had flopped, I'd have walked away and just left it. So step 1, begin. Step 2, continue. And that's that. I suppose step 3 would be, if continue becomes unviable, then give it up. But it happens that most of these things just remain viable, so I do continue.
My name's Jenny. I guess it was probably last spring I started coming. Having taken early retirement, I help care for my elderly parents. I love gardening, love my own garden, but wanted to do something that was a bit useful for other people. So this was the perfect project. So I've been growing my own fruit and vegetables for 20 plus years, and get so much out of doing that for my own family and for myself. Not everybody has the opportunity to do that, and I'm also have a background as a doctor, as a paediatrician, and I'm really passionate about people living healthily and eating well, and including fruit and vegetables in their diet is absolutely part of that. So to help people who don't have other means of achieving that is a really good aim for me, and it's something I love doing, being outside, so it ticks all the boxes really. So I guess it's partly simply about providing labour to do it, but also about having a bit of knowledge about what works, what doesn't, what helps deter the pests, how to do it in an organic way without spraying everything, how to protect the crops to get the best out of them. So planting things closely together to avoid too many weeds in between, combining different plants that encourage pollinators but deter pests at the same time, and physical ways of protecting things like netting and protecting the crops that way. Plus also growing the right things that thrive, because if they thrive, then losing a little bit to the bugs is not a big deal, because there's plenty to go round. We can't expect all of our crops to be completely unblemished, but as long as they're thriving and doing well in their surroundings, then there's still a good crop to be got for us. I would like it to be somewhere that is fulfilling for us to come and spend some time, which it already is. It's a great place to meet people and to be feeling like we're doing something good for the community. So I do wonder whether in the future there is a possibility for involving other people in the community, a little bit like the idea of social prescribing, that to continue to teach people how to do this for themselves, even if they have just a very small space, a few pots, to be able to do something that is helping to educate people, and something they can carry forward into other areas of their life would be a worthwhile thing.
Yeah, so just moved to Belper quite recently, a couple of months ago, and I went to an event at the Struts Community Centre, which was kind of bringing together people from lots of different organisations locally to talk about the values that kind of motivated their work. And Miles came along and talked about the project there, and it seemed like a good thing to get involved with, and both to help out but also learn about kind of stuff. Growing food is something that I'm very interested in, and sort of getting more engaged with kind of nature, producing food, and doing that in a sort of social communal way. I kind of worked as a sort of garden labourer for someone when I was a teenager, but not really done much gardening for a lot of years. So I'm quite rusty. I've set up the new house that I've just bought. I've set up a sort of fruit and vegetable plot at the front to kind of grow stuff, but it's on this little pedestrianised kind of square in the estate. So the idea is hopefully that other people will kind of come and take stuff and kind of benefit from that as well. So just kind of getting back into this kind of stuff. So last time we were digging in old roof tiles to form a new bed there for veg, and just been working on bits, clearing out the shed and repairing a fence today. So it's really helpful. So I work a lot from home and at a computer, and work quite long hours. So without things that sort of push me to actually get out, I might just be kind of stuck inside sort of at the computer. So it's really nice to be out here.
I joined the plot probably last spring. I've been retired for a few years, and when I retired I had great ambitions to be useful, but I'd gone into some kind of decline and was just wasting a lot of time sitting around. So I've seen the plot on Facebook and Miles asking for volunteers, so I thought I'll go and do go down and have a look at the plot, because it's something useful. The food goes to the food bank, and it's outdoors, and you meet other people. So it's getting out of the house, doing something useful. We do get quite a good harvest sometimes, despite the very dry weather in the summer. It was a bit of a challenge though. It's spurred me on actually to be a bit more adventurous, well, not more adventurous, but more proactive in my garden. So I've got quite a typical estate, small garden, and seeing how other people just get up and do things and plant things and things grow, or sometimes they don't grow. So it made me more active really, yeah. And just being a bit bolder instead of just looking at what's in my garden, going and saying, right, I'll turn that plot out and put something new in. Or not plot, pot. I've got mainly pots. Yeah, it's just, what's the word? Giving you more impetus, more agency, I think that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. And prompting me to do a bit more research on Google, obviously, and in my various gardening books for how things grow and rotation and pests and things like that. For the future, well, I hope we can have at least 5 years here, and learn what the soil's like, what's the environment's like here, what thrives, what grows well, so we can make a good harvests basically, and a nice variety, so we can get variety. There's the old trees, and there's some soft fruits and things which are really nice, and yeah, and long-suffering brassicas. So, yeah, that's the hopes really, that we can make it thrive and get a good variety of produce for hope for Belper.
My hope is that it's going to be a really productive growing garden that will help the residents of Belper who want fresh produce, but also it's going to be great for everyone involved because it's a community thing. Being outdoors generally is very good for people's mental health. I believe that being outdoors and being in touch with the earth is really beneficial for us, because I think we've lost that connection to our natural rhythms, we've lost that connection with the natural world. Even though a garden is an artificial environment, because we're creating it, it's still living and growing, and we're connected with that living, breathing organism, which, they all come from the earth herself. Being outdoors is the place I would like to be most of the time, and I don't get to do a